মনে না করেন আমি ইংলিশেই বলবো। Um, we are all concerned, of course, about what is happening in Bangladesh. We have discussed all the concerns. I would like to go through them a little bit. Obviously, we cannot talk about what is happening in Bangladesh without understanding what happened. And this is a question that comes up all the time. There are many different versions of it. There are most that blame the Awami League. I would like to present what really happened at that time to begin with. You see, we had protests in Bangladesh, which really the student movement, the quota demands, they were not unreasonable. They were a legitimate demand. The old quota, it was frankly quite archaic and didn't make sense. However, our government, the fact that most people don't know is that our government had removed those quotas years ago. It was the courts that reinstated those quotas based on a case by the families of freedom fighters. Where our government failed was in the communication and the messaging. We did not say anything about it at all. We left it up to the courts. And this let the movement brew. That was failure number one on our part. Then you had the opposition, the Islamists, and even our good old CIA jump in, turn the movement violent. You had militants who were armed start attacking police stations. And if you listen to the audio recordings of my mother that were presented in court, you hear the discussions about armed militants attacking police stations. And at that point, the situation became violent. There were innocent protesters, innocent civilians that were hurt. All deaths are regrettable. Our government did not want any deaths, but it happened. The violence was initiated by the militants, not by the government. Anyhow, we are here today to talk about the future, the current situation. You've seen in the past year and a half, we've had an unelected regime holding on to power without any mandate. Not just that, one of the first things this regime did was release all convicted terrorists from prison. These were terrorists who had been convicted of attacks such as the attacks on the Holy Artisan Bakery in 2016, of the killing of bloggers, of the killing of a local US Embassy staff member. Our Awami League government hunted them down, arrested them, tried them, sentenced them to jail. But this regime released them. And why did they do that? Because this regime is backed by the Islamists, by the extremists. They form the nucleus. I've been asked this again. Do you think the protesters were Islamists and militants? No. The protesters themselves weren't Islamists and militants. But the Islamists and militants jumped in behind the protests because they have been on television in Bangladesh, on Facebook, taking credit that if we did not cause violence, if we did not kill the police, if we did not burn down structures, the revolution would never have succeeded. They have said that openly. And so then Yunus and the regime, they owe a favor to the Islamists. They are backed by the Islamists, and the current regime in Bangladesh is essentially an Islamist regime. The Islamists are already in power in Bangladesh. They try to defer blame for the violence on mob justice. Yunus's own spokesperson refers to them as pressure groups. So they exert pressure on behalf of the government for the government's agenda by beating people up and killing them. Judges, if you don't rule the way we want, we will surround your house and threaten to beat you up. Anyone who speaks against us, including the media,